Yeah, the usuals. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mystic Fitness on Victory Field. We're streaming from you to you from Victory Field, so hopefully you guys have your devices up and going somewhere comfortably where you can see and hear them. Take your time to set up your mats, get your beverage ready, water, tea, coffee. We'll run through a couple of quick announcements. Starting with those reusable masks that we offer at Mystic Fitness. We're still offering them. So if you don't like to come out to us, we can send them to you. Just get in contact, make a Venmo donation, and we can send you those at any point in time that you need them, because we're still using them and they wash really well. Another announcement is our weekday classes are now at 9 a.m. So make sure you come Monday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to Victory Field, and you're going to be greeted by all of us here on the field getting ready for some yoga. And those are also streaming to you guys. In addition, please join us for some of our indoor classes. We're just adding Wednesday, 4 p.m. Bikram. So if you're interested in that, spots are limited. Register online on Mind Body. And on Wednesday evenings, you guys can come on out and join me at 6 p.m. on Victory Field, 6 to 7 for an hour-long flow. No stream, just you and your mats. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So come on to a comfortable position on your mats, whether you want to lay down or find a seated pose, maybe even child's pose is calling your name. And allow your eyes to close. Take a couple big breaths in and out to welcome you into this space. Eventually, your breath will find a natural rhythm. Trying to maintain a nice tall spine wherever you are, whether you're laying down or seated. Doing a quick scan in the body, noticing if there's any tight locations that can be softened into. When we talk about the present moment within our meditation, we're talking about the simplicity of entering this space where there is no worry about the past or concerns about the future. It is simple yet profound. And you let your awareness expand around you, so taking all of the stimulus in, whether that's the sound of the birds, the sensation of a breeze, and I like to use the term simple magic because a lot of the times we might search for something super profound, and especially the lifestyle we live, always looking for the next exciting piece of information. Yet there's this simple magic surrounding us that is stillness. It might move a little bit slower than what we are used to. Welcome yourself within this space. And find 5 more breaths in and out. On your next breath in, start to expand your lungs. Wiggle your toes and fingers. Perhaps reaching the arms up overhead and finding a full body stretch. Whether you're seated or laying down, just taking any little movements, maybe rolling the wrists. Then using the next couple breaths to slowly bring yourself into a seated position, unless you're already there. Bring your hands over heart. Allow your eyes to close or soften. Oh, the sunshine just came out. Feel that warmth on your skin. And if a natural intention arises from this location, you can hold it close. We'll begin class with the sound of Om, starting with a cleansing breath to prepare. Breathing in and out. And for Om, inhale. Have a beautiful class, everyone. With the next inhale, let's circle sweep those arms up to the sky. And then just take some movements through the wrists, rolling in each direction. You can let your hands be open and wiggling the fingers, making some fists along the way. And then giving the hands a good shake, letting go of any little last bits of tension that you're holding through the knuckles or fingertips. Rolling the shoulders a couple times, maybe one arm at a time, rolling it back, maybe both arms together, coming into some backstroke-like motion, and then some front stroke, and in the opposite direction. And then we'll transition into our table pose when you're ready. So allowing the hands to stack below the shoulders, knees below the knees below the hips. Spread the fingers wide so you have a nice firm base for yourself, protecting the wrists. And on the inhale, letting the chest lower, gaze comes up to the sky, tilting your pelvis up. And with the exhale, curling and rounding, pressing the floor away with the hands, tucking the pelvis below you. Inhale, arch and open up. Exhale, curling and rounding. So finding the contrast of the spinal movement, arch and curl. Inhales and exhales. Take your time coming in and out of each arch and each curl. Allow your elbows to be part of the journey as well as your neck. You can let the head be really heavy when you come into that arching. And as you open up the chest, gaze lifts to open up the front of the neck and throat. When we come into our yoga practice, we want to make sure we hit all of the different movements of the spine. So right now we're hitting the arch and the curl. Those are the two movements. Let's start to rock the hips from side to side, getting into the next two movements of the spine, which is right side body and left side body. So as you rock the hips over to the right, maybe you gaze over right shoulder, and same thing to the other side, gazing over left shoulder. Eventually this can turn into some full pelvic rotations, letting the pelvic bowl circle in one direction and then all the way to the other. You can play around here with how far apart you want those knees to be spread. A little bit farther apart means you're going to access a little bit more into the hips, the hip flexors. And letting this motion go on both sides before coming into a child's pose. Take your time to arrive. If the body isn't ready for child's pose, consider placing a block underneath the tush and kind of letting your weight be pressed upon that. arms can reach in front, or maybe they reach back towards the heels. And each posture has a different power to it within our yoga practice. And I find the power within this pose is actually the surrendering that's happening. And physically, we're bowing forward, we're showing a sign of respect. The back of our head and neck is exposed, which is a very vulnerable place to be. But we stay here and we're connected, and we use that breath. Eventually coming all the way back up into your table pose. And we'll come into the last two movements of our spine, which are twists. So keep the left hand where it is. And then inhale, reach the right fingertips up to the sky. Exhale, thread the right fingertips across the body. We're going to flow a couple times before holding. So inhale, reach it up. Exhale, thread across. Let's find 2 or so more. Each time you might access maybe just a centimeter or maybe an inch more flexibility. And on that last time threading through, you can pause here and hold. You can let that right shoulder relax down. If this is too intense, you let the hips sink a little bit more back. If you're looking for that added layer of fire, maybe you start to extend the left leg behind you, like we have Karina here up front. Nice. Most of us going for that. I love it. I'm curious what you guys are doing at home. If that left leg is extended, squeeze the glute, hold for one more breath. And then go ahead and lower the left knee down. We come out of it the same way. So left hand plants, inhale, right fingertips reach up. And exhale, tabletop position. This time, right hand plants. Inhale, left fingertips sweep up, up, up. Exhale, threading through. So take a couple of these in a flowy manner. So we always look for dynamic movement with breath before holding anything static. And this allows the natural process of opening up through the body. Find about 2 or so more. Each time gaining a little bit more access into different locations, different flexibility. The next time you thread your needle, you can pause and hold here. If you got another flow in you that you're looking for, go for it. Hips sink back if this is too intense. If you're looking for more, this time that right leg is going to lift. You have to really engage and squeeze that right glute. Eventually, right knee floats back down. Coming out of it the same way we got in. Right hand plants. Inhale, left fingertips sweep up. And exhale, table pose. Downward facing dog is next. Let's tuck the toes under and lift the hips up and back. Take your time to arrive. If downward facing dog isn't welcome yet, remain in your table pose and continue with some cat and cows. If you're in your downward facing dog, let's walk your dog out by pedaling the feet. Make sure we didn't forget about the shoulders. Make sure the shoulders are pulling down and away from the ears. Again, we're spreading the fingers wide so that we can support our wrists. So the hands aren't just like pieces of wood there, right? They're active. They're squeezing the ground, almost like you're a little tree frog. And you have little pads on your fingertips that you're squeezing the ground with. These motions will start to turn into some back and forth presses. So with the inhale, letting the knees hover, hips pull back, bent knee dog. Exhale, pressing forward to your plank pose, making sure the shoulders don't go past the wrists. Inhale, pressing back, bent knee dog. Exhale, plank pose. Know that these can be taken with the knees on the ground as well. Take a couple more here, creating some elasticity through the joints, accessing into the hamstring strength a little bit as well, and inner thighs squeezing as the hips pull back, and then pulling inwards with the abdominals, coming into that plank pose. Nice. Eventually come back into your downward facing dog. Hold that expression for one more breath, really lengthening the hips back, pressing the chest down, shoulders down and away from the ears. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat, forward fold. Creating a deep bend in the knees so you can really relax into this fold for your lower back. Eventually, you can start to come into a ragdoll pose, maybe grabbing onto opposite elbow. If that's not in your practice, you can bring the forearms on top of the thighs, coming into a more supported squat-like pose. Shaking the head, yes and no, should release the neck. And all day long, our neck works so hard to keep our head above our shoulders. Let's give it a rest. Let's give it a break. It's always interesting to me what starts to come up emotionally when I bow my head forward. It's the same idea with that child's pose. It's a lot of vulnerability within this posture. Fingertips on the shins. Inhale for a halfway lift. Lengthen that crown. Squeeze the belly in. And exhale, fold. Inhale, press through the feet. Slowly start to rise, one vertebra at a time. Eventually those arms reach up. Look up to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart. Grounding here. Feeling the spine lengthening, crown reaching up, feet pressing down. Inhale, arms sweep up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart, hinging from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Hands plant, stepping back to your plank pose. In your plank pose, those heels are pressing back, crown and chest pulling forward. Imagine I have my hand on your upper back, and I'm asking you to press into my hand. Nice. Now choosing to stay here or let the knees lower for our chaturanga, we'll inhale together. With the exhale, let the chest lower, elbows point back, either halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward facing dog, or finding that low cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. So those chaturangas are up for interpretation. Just make sure that you're utilizing the strength within the body. And take it as slow or as fast as you like. Take extra push-ups or skip them entirely. Inhale, right leg sweeps up to the sky. Exhale, curl the knee into the chest. Hold and squeeze, pull it in. Exhale, lifting that leg up with that. Another inhale, hold. Exhale, knee to chest. Step to your warrior one position. So right foot is going to stay forward, and there's going to be a bend in that right leg. Left toes are pointing to the front left corner of your mat, so it's slightly angled there. The heel is on the ground. Trying as best as we can to bring our hips forward facing. You might need to open up your stance a little bit for this. Bringing those arms down and around the back, interlacing there, or placing the hands towards the back pockets. We're going to find some humbled warrior ones. Inhale, lifting and reaching up. With the exhale, tucking the chin towards the chest, slowly lowering down, rounding all the way back up to our inhale. Exhale, hovering, lowering, rounding forward, and then curling all the way back up. So find a breath pattern that works for you here. We're rolling through the spine, accessing some hamstring opening, hip opening. Yes, make it as dramatic or as small as you like. The next time you come into that humbled warrior, you can pause here. Feel this pose. If the hands are no longer serving you, you can release your grip to the ground or take an added variation. Using the control of the legs to slowly rise all the way back. Inhale, arms sweep up. And with the exhale, bring your hands towards your heart. Bringing the weight into right foot, take left foot to step to forward, mountain position. Feet are hip distance apart. Inhale, arms circle, sweep to the sky. With the exhale, sitting into your chair pose. So sending the hips back, hands come to the heart. We're going to load those glutes up. So send your weight back a little bit more. There's a small arch through the mid-back. Nice. Inhale, arms sweep up to the sky. With the exhale, sit into your chair pose, open up to the right. So finding a twist. Inhale, arms sweep up, press the pelvis forward, squeeze the glutes. Exhale, dip and twist to the right. A couple more times. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, dip and twist. Inhale, rise. And exhale, twist. One more on each side. Lift up, press the pelvis, squeeze glutes. Exhale, lower and twist. Here's your last one. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, twist. Inhale, rise. Find a slight opening of the chest as you gaze up. Exhale, hinging from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant, step back, plank pose. Coming back to that strong plank. So the heels are pressing forward, crown, backward, crown pulling forward. Choosing which style of chaturanga you prefer. Inhale. Exhale, lower to your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Nice, Marty. And exhale, downward facing dog. A couple breaths here. Recalibrate, reset. Maybe stillness, maybe movement. With your next in breath, reach the left leg long behind you. Inhale. Exhale, knee to chest. Hold, squeeze, pull. Inhale, lengthen that left leg back up. Exhale, knee to chest. Step to your warrior one position. Left foot for the front of the mat. Right foot for the back of your mat with a slight angle of that right foot towards the upper right corner. So the heel is on the ground. Yes. Set your hips up so that they're mostly facing forward. If that's challenging, perhaps opening up your gait a little bit. And then bringing those hands down behind the back, either placing them into the back pockets or interlacing hands, opening up your chest. So that inhale is a lifting and rising. Exhale is a humbling your warrior forward. Tuck the chin to the chest and slowly roll all the way back up. Beautiful. Take a couple more of these. Notice if once you started moving, those hips kind of opened up to the side. Maybe, just maybe, you can coax them back to the center. Nice adjustments. And again, these can be as dramatic or as dancey, as flowy as you like, or as static and slow as you choose. The next time you humble that warrior forward, you can pause and hold here. Remember, you can always release the grip and bring the hands down or take any other variation. We got Camille going for more of a balance by bringing her palms together, interlacing them, reaching forward. Karina's going for our tremendous shoulder opener here up front. Can shake the head yes and no to remind your neck it is safe and can relax. We want to come out of it with the same strength by pressing into left foot, slowly rolling all the way back up. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Grounding down through that front left foot and pick right foot to meet, standing at the top of your mat. Inhale, arms sweep up. With the exhale, sit down into that chair pose. Send the hips back. We're going to be here a little bit longer this time. So we took that dynamic movement to prepare us for this deep chair pose. For a moment, bringing your hands to the outsides of the knees. And I want you to press into your hands and hands press into your knees. Do you feel how that fires up the outsides of your legs? Now keep that energy and bring the hands to heart. Nice. Keep those hips pressing back. Squeeze for 5, 4, maybe a little lower, 3. Nice. 2 and 1. Hinge straight forward. Come into a forward fold. If you like, you might walk the feet a little bit farther apart from each other. Toes can turn a little bit outwards, coming into just a little bit of a different part of the legs to stretch. So we're getting a little bit of the outside of the hip. You can shake a little bit side to side. I don't know what I did to my tea today, but it is burning hot still. Maybe it's all the fire around us. Toe heeling the feet back to where they started if you did take that variation of spreading them apart. Inhale, fingertips to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands plant, stepping back, plank pose. Those heels press back, squeezing all the muscles in the body minus the face. Face is relaxed. Try not to hyperextend the elbows. Keep a soft little bend. Nice. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga, slowly lower. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Open up that heart. And exhale, downward facing dog. Find a couple of breaths here. This is a good pit stop if you need a little drink of water or a child's pose. Eventually, we'll jump back into our downward facing dog and continue together if you took a little pit stop. It's so beautiful out here this morning. Birds are happy, breeze is nice and warm. Once we return to our downward facing dog, inhale, right leg sweeps up to the sky. Exhale, curl the knee to the chest. Inhale, one big more sweep for me. Exhale, knee to the chest, step to your runner's lunge. So this time that right foot is going to go towards the right thumb. The back left heel stays lifted. We're on the ball of left foot. Coming into a hover. So pull the arms back with the palms facing down. Crown pulls forward. You can even keep that gaze towards the ground so the neck is a natural extension of the spine. In this pose, there's energy pressing back with that left foot, down with that right foot, and forward with the crown. So there's a contrast here. These look great. Inhale, lift up to your crescent lunge. Arms reach up overhead. Find a gentle tucking and bending of that back left knee. Nice. Exhale, return back to your hover. Arms pull back, extending through left knee. Inhale, rise, crescent lunge, lift it up. And exhale, hover. You all have such beautiful control here. 2 more times. Inhale, lift up. Bend to that back left knee just a touch. Exhale, hover. 1 more time. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, hover. Hold here. Feel a little bit of quivering in that right leg. That's all good. You're finding your strength. You're harnessing that fire within you. Nice. Rising back, crescent lunge. Hands come to the heart. Bringing the weight into right leg, pulling left knee into the chest. Yep. Can interlace left knee, squeeze it in. Coming into a standing wind relieving pose, perhaps rolling out left ankle. Dancing Shiva by keeping the left hand where it is, opening left leg out to the left, right arm out to the right. If you like to extend that left leg, you can go for it here. Make sure it doesn't compromise the structure. Nice, Camille. If left leg is extended, bring it back into a bent knee position. Pull left knee into the chest. And then send left leg back, warrior 3. Keep that left foot flexed, either hands at heart or extending the arms back with the palms facing down. Dial that left hip down, Keep that left foot flexed so you know you're squeezing left glute. That right leg is on fire right now. We're about to release. Just hold with it for 2 more. Last one. Beautiful. Let the left foot land for the back of the mat, coming into a pyramid position. Both feet are planted on the ground. Feet are hip distance apart. Hands to your hips. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, hinging forward. Hands can come to blocks or to the mat. So now that we were really using that right leg to squeeze, we're going to get a lengthening and releasing through that right leg. It's very common to kind of let your weight shift and turn towards right leg. We want to try to keep those hips square. So imagine that my hand is on your left hip and I'm pulling left hip back, and then I have my other hand on your right hip and I'm pressing right hip forward. Excuse me, opposite. I saw Camille's like doing a little wiggle and I was like, oh, just kidding. So I'm asking you to bring the right hip back, left hip forward. There it is. Normally I would just come and do it. Just put the hips where they need to be, right? Starting to walk the hands over towards the left foot, opening up the stance, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Yep, so just switching your perspective. We'll pause in this wide-legged forward fold. If you like to take any other added variations, maybe some skandasanas, bending side to side, or maybe just letting the hips wiggle side to side. Perhaps holding static. Find about 2 more breaths here. So if you're doing anything funky on one side, make sure you hit the other side. Eventually coming back to center if you're in any other variation. You might need to walk the feet a little bit closer together. Bend the knees, open the arms into a T, and then slowly lift all the way back up. Nice. Right toes turn out, finding our warrior 2 position. You might need to open up your stance a little bit. Bend through that front right leg so you can come into your warrior 2. Now notice it's common for the hips to want to sass out to the left. Try to keep those hips under control right below the shoulder line. Arms open wide. Gaze might be over right fingertips. Inhale, flip right palm, reverse your warrior. And with the exhale, extend your warrior. So just alternating a couple times between these 2, finding a little bit of dynamic movement before coming into stillness and static. Nice. The next time you come into that side angle, hold here. So that right forearm is coming down towards either the right thigh or maybe inner right thigh. Now notice if that right knee is going past the ankle, try to stack right knee on top of right ankle. Now that outer edge of the left foot is very important here. You want to press into that left foot. So you're finding a contrast, right foot pressing forward, left foot pressing backward. Now here's where that right rib cage is going to turn a little bit more towards the front, finding a little twist and opening here. Inhale, come all the way up and out. Reverse your warrior. And exhale, cartwheel hands down, coming into a runner's lunge. Hands plant, right leg reaches all the way up and back for 3-legged dog. Open up the hip or bend and extend the knee a couple times. We're going to take a quick little core exercise. So we're going to alternate between a 3-legged dog and a 3-legged plank. So it's going to look like this. Karina has done this before. So inhale, we're reaching the right leg up. With the exhale, we're coming forward, letting our chest lower parallel to the ground. Right leg stays lifted. Inhale, reach up, 3-leg dog. Exhale, lowering 3-leg plank. Last one. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, 3-leg plank. Either stay here or let the right foot lower. Inhale together. Exhale, chaturanga. Maybe a 3-legged chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Nice. And exhale, downward facing dog. It's not easy stuff there. We do a couple of those so that we can get them in. Inhale, left leg reaches up to the sky. Exhale, curl the knee into the chest. Inhale, reach it back up. Exhale, knee to chest. Step to your runner's lunge. Make sure that the left foot goes far enough over to the left so the feet are hip distance apart. Right heel is lifted, yet pressing back. Finding your hover, pulling the arms back, crown reaches forward. Those palms are going to face down. So you're finding a contrast. So we're counteracting all of that hunching forward we do by opening up the chest forward, pulling the shoulder blades together. Nice, you guys. Inhale, arms reach up, crescent lunge. Find a gentle bend for that back right knee. And exhale, come back to that hover. Inhale, lift up, crescent lunge, squeeze. Exhale, hover, press into that left foot. 2 more. Inhale, lift up, bend that right knee. Exhale, hover. Here's your last one. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, hover. Hold here. Pull the arms back. Press into that left foot. Right heel presses back. Slowly lifting back up to your crescent lunge. Hands come to your heart. Bringing the weight into left leg. Right knee pulls into the chest. Giving yourself a squeeze. Take your time to arrive. Nice. Standing wind removing pose. You might choose to rotate that right foot. If you come out of it, it's all good. That's balance. Wouldn't be called balance if it was easy. Dancing Shiva, letting the right leg open up to the right. Left arm opens out to the left for counterbalance. If you like to kick that right leg long, go for it. Notice if that adds to this posture or subtracts to this posture for you. If right leg is extended, start to bend it. Pull right knee back to the chest, hands to heart. Here's where we kick that right foot back, coming into our warrior 3. Beautiful control. Right foot is flexed so that we can ensure that that right glute is squeezing. Dial that right hip down just a touch. Woo! Feel that burn through left leg. It's all good. We have 2 more breaths. That left leg is going to get a beautiful release after this. This is why we're here. This is why we're squeezing. Eventually letting the right foot land into our pyramid pose. Again, both toes are facing forward. Heels are planted. Feet are hip distance apart. Inhale, lift up out of your chest and waist. Exhale, hinging forward over that left leg. You can find a bend through the left knee if you need. Hands can release to the ground or mat or blocks. We want the left hip pulling back, right hip pressing forward, and I promise those are the right cues this time. Feel that tremendous elongation through that front left leg. So that's why we were holding so much weight and power through that left leg, because now we can reward it with that relaxation and elongation. Walking the hands over towards the right, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Open up your stance. We'll be here for about 5 breaths, so choose to take any little movements that you're looking for. If you're doing something on one side, make sure you hit the other side. And to come out of it safely, you might choose to walk the feet a little bit closer together so that you can bend the knees Open up the arms into a T and slowly lift all the way back up. Nice. Left toes turn out, coming into our warrior two. You might need to bend through that left knee a little bit more, opening up your stance, or maybe closing your stance a little bit. Notice if the hips are kind of sassing out to the right. Try to tuck them back underneath the shoulder line. Same thing is to be said for an arch. So sometimes we want to kind of press those hips back. Try to tuck them underneath you. It's hard without a mirror, but you can kind of be self-aware, even bringing your hands to the pelvis. Inhale, flip left palm, reverse your warrior. Exhale is an extended side angle. So we're going to alternate between these two a couple times using that breath. Notice the transition between opening up the right side body and then the left side body. Next time you come into that side angle, you can hold there. So the left forearm coming towards either the left thigh or inner knee. And the right arm can reach up or find some sort of bind where it feels best, or even over the ear towards the front of the room or field. Here's where we press into that right foot. Very key component of this posture is those feet. So this posture starts from the ground up. We need to lock our lower half in before letting our upper half find the benefits of letting that left rib cage rotate over towards the left side. Inhale, coming up and out. Reverse your warrior. Open up through left side body. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Runner's lunge. Hands plant. Left leg sweeps all the way up and back. Three-leg dog. Open up the hip here. Bend and extend. You guys know where we're going next. We're going to our last little push here of those three-leg dogs into our three-leg planks. So let's extend the left leg up. That's your inhale. Exhale, coming into your three-legged plank. Nice. Two more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, plank. Last one is the best one yet, and I can see it coming. And then three-leg plank. Either choose to hold here for your chaturanga as you inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths in our downward facing dog. Beautiful. Coming into our prone pigeon next. So if you prefer a reclined pigeon on your back, you can transition onto your back. For prone pigeon, we'll extend the right leg up to the sky, and then we'll pull the right knee towards right wrist. The important action of this pose is that the right thigh is parallel to the long edge of the mat. So I'm going to use Karina here as a demonstrator, but her right thigh is parallel to the long edge of her mat. Now this is yours to kind of play around with. An option is bringing a block underneath right hip for a little support. If you are without blocks and looking for something different, maybe bending left knee and opening it out to the left. Nice. You can choose between keeping that chest lifted. You can also humble and lower forward. This is the part of class where it's really hard for me not to come over and come give you guys some hands-on assists. It's just seeing you get into these comfy positions. It's just like begging for a shoulder rub. And this is where the class starts to shift a little bit, and we can allow some of that fire to kind of turn into a glow. And let the components of breath and stillness and softness start to take over. We'll be here for about 30 more seconds. Each exhale is a softening Preparing to take it on the other side. You can either do that by simply coming into a tabletop position or coming into a full downward facing dog, tucking the toes under, lifting the hips up and back. Any little wiggles or stretches, honor whatever arises before coming onto the left side. And again, just checking in to make sure that that left thigh is parallel to the long edge of your mat. And then from there, choosing any modification. So again, it could be a block underneath left hip. It could also be right knee bending and propping open to the right, just a touch. Same progression, you can keep your chest lifted for several breaths. Maybe a humbling and hinging forward. And once again, we're given this opportunity to relax and soften with each exhale. Just an added benefit of this practice is immersing yourself amongst the earth. We're going to slowly start to come out of this pose and transition into a reclined position on our backs. I find it's best if you have your head in this direction and your feet towards the back of the field as far as being able to hear. If you want to take any counter positions, you can. In a downward dog, eventually we'll lay all the way down. Yeah. Once there, reaching the arms overhead, finding a full body stretch. And then pulling the knees into the chest, giving yourself a squeeze. Perhaps a little rocking side to side. And keeping the hands on the knees, letting the knees circle away from the chest and then back in. And then in the opposite direction. Pulling right knee into the chest, giving yourself a squeeze as you lengthen left leg down your mat. And a modification for this pose might be just planting left sole of the foot on the ground with a bent knee instead. Inhale, soften. And with the exhale, you can pull that knee a little bit closer towards the chest. Coming into a reclining tree pose next. So we're going to bring the sole of right foot towards the inner left thigh and then let the knee open up. So you can either take like a more soft position and just have the right foot on the ground, or we have Karina going for the Bikram style tree pose where you kind of cross that right foot towards the inner hip crease on the left side. A little bit more intense. Arms can go in any position that feels good. It might feel nice to have them somewhere connected to the body or maybe up overhead. Palms might choose to face up to receive. And then lengthening right leg all the way down your mat. Pulling left knee in towards the chest, giving yourself a squeeze. I like it. Marty and Mary Beth both just did a little dance with their knees. It was so cute. And again, those inhales you can soften a little bit, and exhales you can pull that left knee in a little bit deeper. Again, that modification might be bringing the sole of right foot on the earth instead. Finding our reclining tree pose. So let the sole of left foot come to the inner right thigh, either on the ground, or again, you can take that more Bikram style with the sole of left foot on the right hip crease. Take any variation with the arms that feels right. You guys are just glowing in the sunlight right now. It's beautiful. This is wonderful vitamin D that we can store so that through the winter when we're not getting it, it'll be within us still. And then lengthening left leg down your mat. You can take that little bubble of the knees up and down again. I like it. And then pull both knees into the chest one more time. Give yourself a squeeze. And then plant the soles of the feet on the earth, walking the feet to the outer edges of your mat. And then letting the knees sway from side to side a couple times just to prepare. Again, arms can find whatever variation feels best. Maybe they're open up into a T. The next time the knees go over to the right, pause, let them land. If you have another ideal twist in mind, please take it. An added option is crossing the right ankle over left thigh, or picking left leg up and crossing it over. So there's a couple options for you to take. Feel the exhale here. Coming out of it, same way we got into it. So soles of the feet to the outer edges of the mat, knees come to the center, and the knees fall over to the left. And then again, you can add any variation that you like here. Perhaps crossing left ankle over right thigh, or letting that right leg come up and over. And again, here's where those exhales are going to be so influential. Coming back to center, taking any last pose of your choice before coming into our final resting pose. And rather than thinking of a pose, just feel whatever feels right. Maybe what feels right is just coming directly into your resting pose. Maybe a happy baby or a bridge pose. Reclining bound angle, waterfall. Spend about 10 more seconds here, and then let your body just naturally float into its final resting pose. Once you access your final resting pose, allow a wave of breath to come over you, softening your entire being. Yesterday I went for a walk in the woods, and I heard a bunch of blue jays chirping about something. And so I stopped and I took a look within the woods. I saw this beautiful horned owl just sitting. And I observed it for quite a while and just stood there watching it, expecting something really crazy to happen, or maybe it would take flight. I'd get a chance to see that. But instead it just sat there, complete stillness. Even with all the blue jays surrounding it, all of the chaos, it was just impenetrable. And I found myself kind of asking, that like in this natural world that exists outside of society, these animals, it's not even meditating for them, it just is. Just presence. And how stoic the owl could sit there and remain grounded. And taking this message into our lives and realizing the power of being immersed amongst nature. Stepping away from some of the chaos of our lives, even though the chaos is beautiful and necessary. This is also beautiful and necessary. And we can all learn a lesson from the simple magic that exists within the present moment. Taking a deep breath in and letting it go. And as your breath continues to expand, wiggling the toes and fingers, perhaps pulling the knees into the chest or finding a full body stretch, letting everything slowly start to reawaken. Starting to transition yourself back up into your seat. Take your time to arrive. Either bringing the hands in a prayer position or bringing the hands over heart. And taking all of the things that we learn within this simple magic with us off of our mat. And spreading it to our loved ones because they might need it too. And being that living example that in turn can shift so many perspectives along the way. And we'll seal this in with the sound of Om, honoring all of us on the field as well as at home. We'll start with the cleansing breath. Inhale and exhale. And for Om, in breath. Thank you all so much for joining me in the love and light that resides within my heart, bows and honors the love and light within yours. Namaste. Thank you guys. All of you on the field, all of you at home, we'll see you tomorrow morning for Kat's class at 9 a.m. Now I know it might be a little rainy tomorrow, so stay posted. I'm sure Amy will post whatever needs to be posted to let you guys all know what the plan is. But we've been so lucky with weather, and I have no doubt that tomorrow we might luck out again. We'll see you then. Bye.